So it's come to my attention last year that a developer and a contractor who were demolishing at the new Lifestyles 2 building did not properly abate, or they didn't take out the asbestos out of the existing buildings that were there on 100 South Wood Avenue. On April 6, 2018, upon complaints from neighbors and others, Inspector James Harris and Inspector Pete Alvarez of the New Jersey Department of Labor Asbestos Unit went to the demolition site and inspected the area. At the time of arrival, debris and asbestos-filled dust were flying around in the wind. The asbestos abatement company hired by the developer, which is named Stanmark, was not on site, which is a violation of New Jersey state law, and they were fined for that. The company doing the demolition was not using water suppression to wet down the properties in order to keep the asbestos dust particles levels out of the air, which is also a violation of New Jersey state law, and they were fined for this. Furthermore, in according to the State Asbestos Control and Licensing Department, several samples were taken from the debris at this site. Inspector Harris collected samples of roofing, stucco, plasters. Samples of roofing, flashing, painted plaster were identified as asbestos positive, 3.9%, 1.25%, 10.4%, and 10.5% crystalline asbestos, respectively. The trucks that were used to haul away the asbestos-contaminated dust were not equipped properly, and nor were they licensed to haul asbestos-related material away. And I assume, and this is just an assumption, that the asbestos dirt was put in an area where asbestos dirt is not supposed to be put. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how it was allowed to happen. I stood out in the wind videotaping the demolition from my deck, which is no more than 40 feet away, and I wanted to show you this, of how disgusted I am about this, and I want you to see this. This is from my deck. I'm no more than 40 feet away from this. This was midday, going on for 2 or 3 days before, at least 2 days before any repercussions to protect people were taken. So, I was out front in the property taking pictures. I was posting on Facebook saying how happy I was and how ecstatic I was that finally the Transit Village would have a new restaurant and new amenities and the progress that was happening in the 6th Ward. I never thought that there was a possibility that the dust I was breathing in could be toxic, as I wrongfully assumed that the asbestos would have been removed in accordance with state law. That ecstatic feeling is now gone, and I have the paperwork here from the state for anyone willing to want to look at it. It is right here. It's operable. Honestly, I don't matter here. I'm just one man. I don't have a wife or children yet, and I hope to one day, but I don't now. What really matters to me is the children that were walking to and from school at School 6 that day, breathing in contaminated asbestos particles. I worry about my neighbors and my friends and the people that I represent who have become like family to me. The demolition of this block was done improperly, and I, as the voice of the 6th Ward, want to know why. I'm calling for an impartial state investigation in order to find out exactly what happened here and how we can stop it from ever happening again. I believe the state has better resources to investigate the situations with subpoenas, if need be, of text messages, emails, and GPS location in order to find out what happened, and in order to find out all who could have been involved in allowing this to happen. I will also ask the state to look into what possible reason the Parkside Inn, which was on the opposite side of the block, was taken down in the middle of a snowstorm a few months prior. This block was also tested, and it found that asbestos was in that building as well. Furthermore, the Linden City Council and the Linden City government going forward absolutely has to contract with an independent asbestos investigator and not rely on inspectors that the developers hire themselves. We will then require any redevelopers who want to rip down old structures to pay for the services of our independent asbestos inspector so that there will be no cost to the taxpayers. This will ensure that in future no more children will be exposed to asbestos-contaminated dust simply going home from school, along with none of our residents or people traveling in our city will not be exposed. This will ensure that we will take care of our taxpayers while providing a safe environmental standards for both the residents of Linden as well as people contracted to work at these sites, since clearly little was done to protect them. Next month, I will be sending a letter, and I will personally propose a resolution asking the New Jersey State Legislature to change the Asbestos Control and Licensing Act, which was last amended in 1984. This is the law that handles asbestos in our state. The maximum fines for dumping asbestos is $25,000. The fines for asbestos dumping needs to be quadrupled to $100,000 in order to ensure developers do not take an easy way out. If abatement costs $100,000 and a fine is a maximum of $25,000 if you do indeed get caught, there's really no incentive to safely remove the asbestos and protect our children and residents. I would like to thank Inspector Harris and Inspector Alvarez of the New Jersey Department of Labor Office of Asbestos Control and Licensing for their due diligence. Their due diligence is the only reason that this is coming to light, and I appreciate them, and so do our residents. Some people will question why this developer may have been complacent in this matter, and I don't know yet what that was, which is why I'm asking for the state to start an investigation. I'm sorry to break the news like this here in council, but this is why I'm here. I'm here for you. I serve Linden, and no one else. The builders of this city need to protect our neighborhoods like they live here, which it appears that they have not. Thank you, Council President. That concludes my report.